Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And the Game Awards are coming up, but there's some scandals going on. So basically, fans, Sonic Frontier fans, but fans in general, are convinced that Genshin Impact is bribing its community for the Game Award votes. This comes from Kotaku, and basically what they're saying here is they fans are thinking there's some corruption going on here. There's a lot of Sonic Frontier fans and the Video Game Award fans who think that the gacha game is basically convincing those players of Genshin Impact to vote for it for the Player's Voice Award category. One Reddit or Twitter post shows that Sonic Frontiers was winning, and then about 7 hours later they say Genshin Impact was in first place with 17%. Now, why do they think that? Well, they think that because Genshin Impact has a premium currency called Primogens, and it's used for limited time gacha characters. This is like a premium currency in the game, basically, for the gacha characters. And the reason why they think this is happening is basically last year, Genshin Impact won the Best Mobile Game Award at the Video Game Awards. After the show, HoYoverse gave 10 gacha rolls to all of its players. Of course, right now it's not shown that this is what's happening or anything like that. It's just mainly speculation. Redditors, there was a Reddit AMA for Jeff Keighley, and one person did ask about this, saying, is it bribery or botting for the Player's Choice Award? Keighley says that he thinks the fan base is activating to support a game or a game promoting its nomination to its fan base. He said this is the part of the reason we don't have 100% fan voting in the main categories. However, he promised that the TGA, the Video Game Awards, would be looking into this. So, that makes sense. Again, the VGAs, the Video Game Awards, the Game Awards, they're not, it's really just about accolades for it. It's kind of like the Oscars. For us, it really doesn't necessarily mean anything, but at the same time, it does, right? We do want certain games to be recognized. And if we don't know necessarily that the Genshin Impact developer is saying, hey, go out and vote for us and you'll get this if we win. But with last year, with Genshin Impact developers doing something like this, giving out, because they won Best Mobile Game, giving out the 10 roles to all of its players, that gives the perception that possibly this year, if they're voted in the Player's Choice, that those players could get something, right? So I feel like it makes it to where the players that maybe would have voted for something else like Elden Ring or God of War or Genshin Impact, let's say they are Genshin Impact players, but they're like, oh, I'd rather vote for, I love Genshin Impact, but I think Elden Ring or Sonic Frontier should win. But then if they're like enticed with free money in the sense, right? Because this premium currency probably costs money. And they're like, well, if they vote it, we'll get, 10 rolls or this primo gems or whatever. That can entice them to go ahead and vote for Genshin Impact, even though they don't really think it deserves it or they want something else to win, but they don't get anything for that, right? So it kind of sways that opinion, I feel like. So it may not necessarily be, all that in the conspiracy realm of the developer reaching out to its players. And they probably are reaching out to its players to vote for Genshin Impact for the Player's Choice. But I don't know if they're really necessarily saying that you will get something if we win, right? But I think the fact that they did give something last year gives that, kind of illusion to the players that, hey, if they do win, maybe we will get something, right? So that gives that incentive, I guess you could say, to the players that, hey, let's go ahead and vote them in because, we're going to get something if they win. But it's very interesting. Of course, this is all, again, speculation. We don't really know if anything's happening. I'm really surprised that, at the time of the Twitter post, Genshin Impact was winning. And I'm really surprised that Genshin Impact would be winning in a player's choice compared to the other titles that are up there. But what do you think, Pat? What do you think about this whole ordeal?
I'm really torn. Like, why is Genshin Impact still on there? I mean, to me, in my opinion, the Game Awards should be for something new, not something that's they need a category for something ongoing, like Genshin Impact, or WoW, World of Warcraft, or something like that, of an ongoing game that's changed frontiers or made progress or done something. But why is Genshin Impact still even in the Game Awards for this category? I think they call it the Player's Voice Award or whatever. It's stuff like that is how you disenfranchise your fan base. And I'm not talking about Genshin Impact. I'm talking about the Game Award franchise or anything, because whether Genshin Impact's controlling arm did say something or didn't say something, there's a preconceived notion because of what happened last year, like Best Mobile or whatever that they won. Okay. So can't speak all of a sudden. So fans are thinking, okay, if we do this, they're going to give us 10 more free spins for this gacha game. Or for the characters in the game. And so now they're loading up. The fan base is basically just vying for this just in case, because if the game developers or publisher, whoever's running this, I can't remember what's their name, MiHoYo, who's the whatever, if they did promise that, I think it's automatic disqualification, in my opinion. You're out. You can't come back to the Game Awards for 5 years or something stupid like that. But I think that Genshin Impact doesn't deserve to have a category this year of something because they're not new. They didn't do anything new, So, but to me, that's really tainting the Game Awards, in my opinion. So I wouldn't necessarily call this controversy. I would just call it more of tainting or staining the Game Awards by doing something like this. Botting and stuff like that should never be allowed in voting. You should get 1 vote, not 10 votes or 5 votes. You have to click the button as many times as you want, which you can't do, but you can sign up for multiple accounts and keep doing it. So, bot networks are a real thing, and they need to have better ways of controlling stuff like this to prevent abuse of the system. If Genshin Impact wins this category, Keely's got some shit to answer for, in my opinion, because they shouldn't even be in the category. And yeah, looking over that whole article, like Genshin Impact was second to last, on the rankings for that category out of, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. They were beating Horizon Forbidden West. How the hell is that even possible? And then they went from that to number 1. So they went to having 5% of the votes to 17% of the votes in that time span. And time span is 7 hours. I mean, that's a good time span. But to have that big of a jump in player base, to me, says something's going on. Now, if you go from like 7% to 10% or something like that, that's more believable. But going from 5% to 25% of the vote says something's going on to me. But, I don't know. I really feel like, how could that game be in the running for the People's Voice Award? It's not new, so get it out of there. But that's just my opinion. I'm not, and I need to go vote because I haven't voted yet, and I'm going to vote before it all expires, and I can't do it anymore. But yeah, I will be highly disappointed if Genshin Impact wins that People's Voice Award, because that's just outright stupid. Especially, I don't know. I don't even honestly think that Sonic Frontier should be that high, but that's just my opinion. I honestly think, I don't know. I have to look more into what the People's Voice Award is. That's what I was kind of looking at. What is the People's Voice Award? What is that? What is that for? Nick, did you find that one and see what it was? Because that's what I was trying to find. You know,
I think that's the player's choice.
oh
like,
well, the article says People's Voice Award, which I thought that was kind of weird.
That might be what they're. Yeah, the player's voice is what it is. It's and I think the player's voice is basically like the player's choice awards
For Game of the Year?
for the game of the year.
Dude, how the hell is it not a new game in Game of the Year category in the first place? That's what I want to know.
I'm not sure.
Well, I don't think it's that because it's not in the list of Game of the Year.
Well, it says player's voice. Which is your favorite game of the year? Player's voice is 100% fan voted across 3 rounds.
Well, that must be a different voting category because it's not in the main one, because the main category only has Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Best Stray, and Xenoblade 2.
I don't know how this gets picked. I mean, looking at it now, there's only it's in round 2. Round 2 has a day left. Genshin Impact is not even in there. There's only 5 titles.
It must be a different voting arm that I'm thinking of because yeah, I'm like, where is this at? So is this a Twitter only thing?
No, it's on the Game Awards website. You go to the Game Awards, but it's a player's voices at the very top of the website.
Oh, okay. It's a separate category. It's not in the main category.
It's a separate category. Yes, correct.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even Genshin Impact. Well, it's on that one. It's at the very bottom. But how do we see? I guess we'd have to wait to see, where they end up at the end of round 2, right?
Yeah.
And then when we go into round 3. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess we would see what ends up winning at the end.
There we go. So, and now current results are Sonic Frontiers is at 17% and Genshin Impact at 14%. So Sonic Frontiers is beating Genshin Impact right now. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom of that page, that's where the current results are at.
Oh, okay.
So we got one more round, which, to be honest with you, surprises me that Genshin Impact and Sonic Frontiers is beating out Elden Ring. So.
Yeah. It's beating out. So there's some interesting ones on here. I don't know how these player voices get on this list. Is this something that the players? I wonder if this is something that the players put in for entry, and then they take the 10 highest entries.
I don't know. Because it just says, which is your favorite game of the year? Player's Voice is a 100% fan voted award across 3 rounds. So what is your favorite game of the year? So is this all game of the year contenders? Like, how does
it's not
Genshin Impact?
Because they got Minecraft on there as well. They got Sifu, Minecraft, Cult of the Lamb. Like, how do these entries get on there is what I want to know. I mean, the botting and stuff like that. I mean, that could be definitely a big problem. And the problem that you're going to have with Genshin Impact possibly doing something like that, the players for that, then you're going to have, the players for like Sonic Frontiers and some other games doing the same thing, right? And that's where and it's like, how do you control that though? I mean, that would be hard to control for Jeff Keighley to do, but I agree with you though. I don't know how these games get added to this list. I don't know if it's like initially they do a poll for the like top 10 games that gamers want on the player's voice. And then they take, or they might have a huge list, right, of like 20 games. And then they take, everybody votes for the 20 games and the top 10 go into that round. That's the player's voice sequence, right? Because how does Minecraft get on there, right? I mean, these are, like you said, they're ongoing games. Yes, they are updated and ongoing. But like, how does something like Minecraft get on there and Genshin Impact? And I agree with you. I mean, like, because everything else on there is new or came out this year, whereas except for Minecraft and Genshin Impact, those didn't come out this year. So I agree with you. I don't think they should be included on the list. Maybe for best ongoing game, like you said, but not for game of the year. I mean, no.
Yeah, because I'm a little bit concerned about this. And reading this, I guess there was some controversy last year with this too, because Halo Infinite won last year, People's Voice Award. It wasn't even released. So
It wasn't released?
It wasn't released from what I'm reading here. Halo Infinite wasn't even released by the time that the Game Awards came around last year.
Well, I mean, it came out in November 15th.
The multiplayer did.
Oh. And was it for the campaign or was it for the multiplayer or just in general, I guess?
It's just in general.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Yeah, they were December the 9th last year. So I don't know, man. I'm a little bit, I'm like, how can you put a game that came out in 2020 on the list and a game that came out in 2010 on the list of games that are supposed to be games of the year? Ongoing games are, you get your chance when the game releases or when you release a new expansion or something, you know.
Well, I mean, they have, Genshin Impact does release new expansions or whatever they call them. And so does Minecraft. But I mean, I still wouldn't, I don't know. I could see including it if it was the expansion's name, right? The name of the expansion. Saying, okay, the expansion deserves Game of the Year, not just Minecraft in general or Genshin Impact in general, because those are always updated, always prolonged, updated games. I mean, I like Minecraft. I'm not a big Genshin Impact person, but I like Minecraft. I think it's fun. I like all the updates and stuff, but I wouldn't vote it for Game of the Year or anything, right? I think it's an awesome game. It's a fun game to play, but again, I wouldn't vote for it for Game of the Year. I'd rather see stuff that's, it's Game of the Year, not Game of the Year 5 years ago or whatever, right? I mean, Minecraft's been around forever. And Genshin Impact's been out for a few years now. So
yeah,
it needs to be stuff that's all 2022 that players are voting on, not stuff that just gets updated. I mean, stuff gets updated all the time.
Yeah, and 2022 is being in like Game Awards fiscal 2022, right? Because it goes from like December to December, in my opinion. If a game comes out after, I don't even know what the rankings are, what I'm trying to think of here is like, what is the time span? Like, let's just take, for example, God of War, that game just came out. And, within a month, a month of when the Game Awards release. So, I mean, I guess we do vote right up until the point of the show to some extent. And from what I read is, like actually in the main categories, 10% of the vote comes from players and 90% comes from the voting committee, and those type of things. So they have like 90% sway over 10% of the player base, which seems way too construed. But, that's a topic for another session. I'm just, there's too much here. I'm making it sound like there's more at stake than there is. But to gamers, this is a huge stake thing because it's like, no, why are you doing this? Why are you putting these games in here that didn't come out this year? Or why are you allowing games that didn't come out this year to be in the list? I'm at a loss myself, so it's a little disheartening. The Players' Voice Awards can be something that's been out for 2 to 22 plus years. I have nothing against Minecraft and I have nothing against Genshin Impact, but I definitely don't think they belong in the list, and that's just my opinion. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I do feel allowing a game to sway voters based on if I'm going to get a bump from the game or some in-game currency because mobile games are stingy, or because the mobile game is going to give out gifts to their player base if they win, regardless if it's a spoken or unspoken rule, that's going to sway voters. I mean, I don't care who you are in any type of life scenario or anything. If somebody offers you something for free, you're liable to give them your vote. I don't care who you are. If somebody's like, if I win, I'll give everybody $100. You can be like, well, I'm probably going to vote for that guy because I want my $100. And especially in a video game thing.
Right.
If I know that if they're gonna win in the video game, they're gonna give me some of their in-game currency. I'm gonna be like, I want some of that free stuff. Give me some free stuff. For all I have to do is vote for you, or send my bot network after you or something. To vote for you. So I don't think they belong in this category. And I believe if anything comes of this and they win and it's found out that they entice their player base with some in-game promise or something like that, then suspended for however long, Genshin Impact can never enter another category in the Game Awards permanently.
Yeah, I agree. Because you're just swaying the votes at that point. Yeah, I agree too that I don't think Genshin Impact and Minecraft, again, like you said, I don't have anything against them. I just don't think they should be included. And we were talking about like expansions or something like that. I don't even think expansions for a game should be included. Not unless the expansion just like totally changes how the game is played, and it's just like it's almost like a standalone, but you have to have the base game to play it, right? But otherwise, it's like a totally different game. Then sure, go ahead and put it in there. But if you're going to pick games of the year, it's got to be coming out that year, right? Because we're selecting games coming out. We should be selecting games coming out that year, that fiscal year, like you were saying, for the Game Awards, coming out at that time that we want to vote for Game of the Year as far as that goes, not games that that's been in existence for years. I think both Minecraft and Genshin Impact do not belong in that list. But I don't know how they choose these things. I don't know if it's like a big vote at the beginning before that happens, or if Jeff Keighley and team just vote for these things. I'm not sure how that works. So, but do you have anything else you want to add to this?
Yeah, Mr. Fancy Jacket Guy, Mr. Fancy Jacket Keighley, don't let me down. Or Oddball Jacket Guy, whichever one you want. If you think they're fancy or oddball, don't let us down. Don't let this happen. And I need to know how those games got added.
Yeah, for sure. Don't let us down, Bruce. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of this? And what do you think of Minecraft and Genshin Impact being a part of the Players' Voice Award? It's pretty much the Game of the Year choice by the gamers, right? Not just purely just the gamers, not by Jeff Keighley and co. So what do you think of those two titles being in there? Let us know, or you can let us know after the awards. What did you vote for? What game for you was Game of the Year? It could be something not on this list. It'd be interesting to see what everybody's Game of the Year game is, right? What was your favorite game of the year? Maybe it's something we haven't played. Maybe it's something we need to check out. Everybody's got their own choices as what they liked and what they loved throughout the year. So let us know down in the comments. Otherwise, go ahead and like the video if you haven't already, if you wouldn't mind. Hit that subscribe button to subscribe if you're not already. Hit the bell notification to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. And we'll see you next time.